Hello everyone, welcome to Jackie Does Stuff. I'm Jackie and I do stuff. And today I want to show you how I bottled my batch brewed kombucha and got it started on a second fermentation. So check it out. So the first thing I'm doing here is I have washed 6 Garage style flip top bottles just with soap and warm water, and then I sprayed it with some 70% isopropyl alcohol and let it sit in my strainer for like 10 minutes or something in order to sanitize it. That should be plenty for this. And I also did that with that funnel that you see there. Now actually a gallon of kombucha should be, it should fill like 7 or 8 girl style bottles, but I'm doing 6 for now because I don't actually drink that much of it. I don't drink as much of it as I should, and when you do something like this, you really want to make sure that you use it up, or else it'll start kind of filling up your filling up your fridge. So I'm just doing 6, and I'm going to end up with like a lot of kombucha left over, but that's okay because that will just help me start my next batch even better. It's always better to use up less than more, because at least you'll have it if it's less. Now, the flavor that I've gone with here is lavender and blueberry, and I did that because that's just what I already have. I have a ton of lavender. That right there was a pound of lavender when I started, when I first got it like a year ago or something, and I'm not even close to being done with it. And I chose that because I love lavender. It's one of my favorite flavors, and you can see me kind of shaking it gently into the funnels here, and that's because I didn't really want it to get stuck in the funnel. It's really annoying when that happens. And then once I add the lavender to the bottle, I make sure to close the Grolsch lid on it again, because we're not being like the most sanitary here, but we're going to try to keep stuff out of the bottle if we can help it. And then after this, I add some crushed blueberries as well. Blueberries because I got that in my CSA this week, so I got them plenty fresh. This is a really good way of using up some of my CSA material, and also I think that blueberry and lavender go really well together. Now, when you're doing your second fermentation, what you're doing is you're adding the kombucha from your big vessel, and you're putting it into these smaller bottles. And if you don't have like a Grolsch style bottle, just anything that has a solid lid, so like no corks or anything. But if you have like beer bottles that you can cap, that's good. I like these because these are self-capping. That eliminates like a huge part of the process for me. When you add fruit, something that has natural sugar in it, the yeast will kind of become reactivated by the presence of the new sugar. It'll eat the sugar, and then it will add all sorts of carbonation to the bottle. But because you've closed the bottle and the air can't get out, it has to kind of the bubbles have to get forced back into the liquid, which causes it to be, fizzy and carbonated. Which is really pleasant, but also can be really dangerous. If you leave it out for a long period of time, the bottle can literally explode. So the best thing to do here is once you finish it, once you finish this process that you see me doing here, you would leave it out at room temperature for like 2 days. You can kind of burp the bottle. You can kind of open it a little bit and close it again, and you can gauge how much carbonation has built up in there. And if it sounds like like a soda when you open it, if you open it and it goes like tss, that means that it's done, and you can go ahead and pop it in the fridge, and you can enjoy it as soon as it's cold. It should be said, though, that if you are adding some flavoring, and truly you can add kind of whatever to this. Kombucha is very forgiving. It's a really good place to try out some weird flavor profiles. If you're going to add something that doesn't have natural sugar, like if you're not going to add fruit, if you add something like herbs or spices, or I don't know, if you got really weird with it and you added like mushrooms or something, those things are not going to have any food for the yeasties. So in order to keep them happy, you're just going to have to add a little bit of extra sugar to it. But you don't have to add white sugar if you don't want to. You can add kind of whatever. You can add, maple syrup or honey, but it does have to be sugar, though. It can't be like stevia. It has to be something that has actual food for the yeast to eat. You see me here crushing some blueberries. I didn't like completely pulverize them. I just wanted to break the skin a little bit so that the kombucha can get in there. And then whatever I didn't use of this blueberry, I just added like a tablespoon per bottle, and then I used a chopstick to force it through the funnel, and that ended up working really well for me. Whatever I didn't use in the kombucha, I ended up eating as a little snack later with some blue cheese and some spices. It was really tasty. All right, now at this point is when I start actually adding the kombucha to the bottles. Now, the last time that I did this, I ended up doing a continuous brew system, so I had like a spigot and everything, and this time I have to do it a little bit differently. But first, I want to show off the SCOBY. It's not its like full shape and size, but like look at that. That is the SCOBY that grew right on top of our kombucha. It's not the one that we put in there. The one that we put in there is a sort of disc shape, and it's fallen down there at the bottom. So that top one is homegrown. But yeah, the more that you make kombucha, the more SCOBYs will form, and you can actually give some away to your friends. You can sell them. You can just create a little SCOBY hotel, like a little jar where you keep the SCOBYs, so that you can start as many batches as you like, or you can even compost them. Oh, look at that! Did you see that? So what I'm doing here is, normally you'd want to test this, you'd want to taste it, but I am pretty confident that this is going to come out pretty good because I can smell that it has turned into kombucha. It has the kombucha smell, so I trust that it will taste good. But if you're not totally sure, definitely give it a taste. So I'm gently ladling some, just a little bit at a time. This is a trick I learned from somebody who I know who used to volunteer at a soup kitchen. When you're ladling, you don't want to fill the whole ladle. You just want to get a little bit in there. And that will help you keep the liquid under control. So I'm pouring it in there until the kombucha gets a little bit above the shoulders of the jar, because we're going to try to leave a lot of headroom in there. And each jar should be, or each bottle should be like roughly 2 cups-ish. So that's why a gallon should fill 8 bottles, but I'm only working with 6 here, so we're not actually going to finish all of the kombucha here. And look, you can see it's already starting to take on that beautiful purple color. And indeed, as it sits, it's going to get even more of that beautiful blue-purple color as it goes along. But you can see it's already starting to do its work. So like I said, when I finish this, I'm going to end up with like 4 extra cups of kombucha, and that's going to be a great start for our next batch. So that's what I do after this, although I don't record myself doing it. I just go ahead and make another batch of kombucha the same way that I did in the previous video, with just 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons of green tea, and a cup of sugar. And then I cool that down with some cool water and just pop it in the vessel and top it up to 1 gallon. Now get ready to watch me make a big mistake here, because I kind of wasn't paying attention and I just went ahead and poured too much kombucha into the bottle, and it just overflowed right to the top. But that's okay, because all I ended up having to do was take it over to the sink and just pour some of it out, rinse the bottle off a little bit, and then just get right back to business. So looking forward, what I think I'm going to do, since I've already made the video of how to make the kombucha, and this here is the video on how to bottle and second ferment the kombucha, I think that I'm not really going to show that from now on because it pretty much isn't going to change from batch to batch. However, I think that maybe what I'll do instead is I'll do like flavor reviews or something, because I don't really like this to do the same flavor every single time. So every time that I do it, I'll probably do something a little different, and it will kind of depend on what's in season, what I have available, what the people who I'm making it for are asking me for, you know. So the brewing style will probably always be the same unless I go back to continuous brew, which I don't think that I will. I think I prefer this to that. But it's the flavor that is probably going to change. So I think that maybe what I'll do is I'll instead just do like some updates on some flavor profiles and how they went, and if I ended up liking them, and if they ended up coming out really good or really bad or really ugly. So with that in mind, if you have any flavors you want me to try, if you have any like weird flavor combinations that you want me to give a go and see how it comes out, definitely let me know. Put it in the comments below. And there we have it, our second fermented, blueberry and lavender, homemade, batch brewed kombucha. Doesn't it look fantastic? I'm so excited to try it.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!